The following is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. We are not responsible for any losses, only the profits.
What's happening, Octo family? Hope you all had a good week. We're going to dive on in here. NGAW. Have you ever seen my video on that? Videos, third one, I think. Has been mooning since the potential LOI. Y'all seen this video? Come take a look for Lion? Electric vehicles? Come take a look if you haven't seen it. Regardless, why am I bringing it up? Because the warrants, man. You could have already 2 extra money. Did anyone 2 extra money already on the NGA units? Did anyone get the units when they were out, when we've been talking about them like 2 or 3 months ago when they weren't cool? Anyone already jump into the warrants and are chilling? The commons on these are still sitting like at the floor, like $9.96. If and when this comes out to be 110% legit, I guess one could be pretty darn good. Check it out. WWR, do you remember when I talked about them? I don't know, 2 months ago? West Water Resource. I think they're ready to break. If you haven't seen the video, come watch it. Why? Check a look at the chart. Remember, we were talking about this thing way back when it wasn't cool, man. When it was like $1.75. Just we were charting it and day trade a little bit down here. And then some people got to ride from $2 all the way up to $14.50. Anyone get to do that? Regardless, what's going on now? So, if you take a look, it has just been consolidating, and it has got an imaginary floor sitting at like $4. $4-ish. You know, if you want to get into this, the safest way to be would to wait till it gets back to like $1.76. Or, you know, if you want to do a lottery ticket, this might be a decent runner. This is one of the only green, let's call it ESG, plays out there that didn't move at all in the past week, right? Most ESG's plays have been just mooning out of control. This is a graphite play, EV play, basically. I don't know. It's consolidating. It is getting tight in the pipe. What do y'all think? Big Commerce, ready again for Shopify dominance? What do you think? Y'all heard of Big Commerce? Big C is the ticker on this one. We talked about this one when it wasn't that cool. When we were saying, you know, it's going to break out of here. Once it breaks out, it's going to moon up. Anyone get to buy in here about $79, $80 and then get up to 100? Should take profit. What's going on? Surfed it back down. Earnings came out. I don't look too well, right? I mean, these guys they're not going to dominate Shopify, at least not tomorrow, right? It's good to have competition, but these guys still have a long ways to go. The earning per share is still negative. Their EPS, though, does beat by 18 cents. And on revenue. So revenue was $39.74 million, which beat the estimate by 3.4 million. So that's good. And that is a 40% year-over-year raise. That's good. So, you know, this is like the younger Shopify. They're still got to spend big money. Every time they get $1, they got to spend 10, right? To at least try to ball. This is one of those ones that could end up being $500 stock, you know. What do y'all think? This one recently IPO'd just this year. Anyone been surfing it since day one? Where do you see this? I think we got a decent entry here. I'm still waiting for maybe another pullback in the whole market. You know, I like to get stuff super cheap. I'll have to take a look, though. Tall Seller, he wrote and said, that was one of the worst earning calls I've heard in a while. He's talking about Big Commerce that just came out. The net effect from the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, like 4 to 6 times was brace yourself for the pre-CVID slow growth coming very soon. He couldn't even say that he really felt GMV for holiday season is likely going to be a blockbuster. Based on the tone alone from their CFO, avoid. You know, it means a lot. You know, tonality, how they're sounding. The dude's like, just beware, it's gonna suck next quarter. You know, gotta have the leaders amped up, man. They're the leaders. So, is that just creating a good buying opportunity for us? I think it's looking like a good buying opportunity according to the chart. I'll have to find out. I think it's going to bleed a little bit more. We'll have to find out. How about CCIV, the Churchill DirecTV play? Y'all see this video? Could be going with DirecTV. And we were asking this video, do people even use it? Well, I found a picture that proves, it tells us everything we know right here. See all these DirecTV satellite things? If you zoom in, these are all DirecTV. So this proves that DirecTV is still cool in different parts of the world. How about some random face rippers? How about this whole sea Greenleaf area? The Greenleaf area. ACB, anyone in ACB Aurora? ACB Aurora, look at this thing. We were talking about these last week and how these are going to pop if Biden is looking like the president. Guess what's happening? They're all popping. This thing went from like 450 to 12. Anyone gets to surf that? This is the biggest traded today on a lot of platforms. Why am I bringing that up? Because number one, we got to be aware of it. But number two, I think that a lot of these have ran a little bit too much. So what are you going to do about it? We'll find out. Talk about it a little bit later. How about UAVS? Y'all remember them? The AG Eagle guys that they make. We're 99% sure they make the drones for Amazon. They just haven't come out and admitted it yet. Well, they ran a little bit today because Bloomberg came out with a video talking about these Rainbow Ones. Rainbow One drones that deliver vials of medicine and vaccine or whatever via drones. This happens in the market. Just be aware of it. If you hear about all of a sudden a drone, it's sympathy play, right? It didn't necessarily say UAVS is making it. In fact, it didn't. It's talking about this company EESA, but it's a sympathy play. All drone stuff ran just because one was kind of cool today. It ran a little bit up. It went like 11-12%, I think, maybe more. I don't know, but what happened? People took profit. Just be aware when you hear stuff like that. Chamath, well, he's just not stopping with this open door thing. Guess what was on my doorstep today? IPOB, IPOB, IPOC, all in his SPACs. IPOO. Is anyone IPOO in there, out there? We want to buy your home, cash, the hassle-free home buyer. No investors, we use our own money. Oh, really? We are your problem solver. We specialize in fast closings in any condition, as is purchase, probate houses, stopped foreclosures, relocation assistance. You can call now for free consultation. It's kind of funny, I waved at him. I was like, Chamath, what's up? And just turned around and was like, I don't know. I think he's getting burnt out, hitting these neighborhoods, dropping these. What do you think? QQQ, the big tech, and SPY, what are they looking like? Well, we pointed out we have the dog, right? We got a big old doggy here. Well, we were riding the ear channel down, right? His left ear down, and we were saying if we break below his snout, it's not going to go good, and it's going to keep going south. But the whole election thing happened right here, and we had these weird skip doodle out of days up here. Skip. Gave us some gaps that we got to fill. These gaps got to get filled. When are they going to get filled? I think it might be beginning of next week after all the people market order over the weekend. Then the big boys are going to make you go down a little bit. Broke out of the ear. It's not a safe place to be. How about GRWG? Y'all ever see my video on that one? Grow Generation. Check it out if you haven't. Again, this one ran because of the Biden thing, right? It looks sweet. How's the chart look? It's at all-time highs. Congratulations, but puts us into scary territory. There's technically nothing holding us back, but as fast and as hard as this whole sector ran, it's got me kind of thinking that the whole sector needs a pullback. And again, when we're talking about the sympathy play, if one of the other ones starts going down, usually the whole sector. We've been seeing NEO and XBEV going up exactly 30, 31%, 32, 33% up. It's the sector of plays. So just watch this. Protect yourself. How about SAMA? Another one in that sector. We're talking about getting on this train many times. This was down to 40 cents, 42 cents, and it got up to 65, 66 cents today. I was able to get out of that one today, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to ring that cash register because everything is looking topped out. The whole market was just getting exhausted after like an hour or two after market, the whole market just topped out. And that's when you got to just look at the macro picture and think, is it time to ring the register? Again, I could see myself definitely re-entering into SMAW. I just don't know if it'll be on Monday, right? I think I'm going to wait till at least mid-week to see if we're going to get some craziness happen. Tavish Wardell wrote and said, yo, what's up? What's wrong with Mara? Riot, don't seem to be correlating with Bitcoin anymore at all. It should be up massively. Then Boops, what up, Boops? Yo, what up with Mara and Riot? Dilution, manipulation, they're stagnant, even though Bitcoin is flying. Let's find out. If a whole sector's flying but a couple aren't, why? Because the big boys aren't 100% sold. And that's what also tells me this Bitcoin run-up could fall. If the big boys were sold on this Bitcoin run, okay, Bitcoin by all means looks totally bull. All right, we broke out of this channel. There's technically nothing really holding this thing back until we get up to 16,655. Could zip across this line over here. You know, we technically are in a bull flag too, but I assure you, if the big boys totally believed that we were going to stay up in Bitcoin, they would be all over Mara and Riot. But regardless, they could still just be waiting for entry, you know, because the fact multiple people are asking me this tells me that everyone's kind of feeling the same way. They're like, what? We bought Mara and Riot because it's supposed to follow Bitcoin and it's doing nothing. What's going on? Maybe they're waiting for everyone to start pulling out. It doesn't matter. Just realize if and when Bitcoin keeps if this keeps bulling, eventually these will pop. But just because something isn't cool yet, isn't mooning yet, doesn't mean it won't. Just be happy, and if you did your homework on it, which sounds like y'all have, just own it. It's going up. This is one of those ones it is. It's like owning a gold mining company. This happens in gold and silver a lot, right? Like silver and gold will go up, and then there's sometimes like half of them just won't go up. And usually that means that gold and silver, it's kind of a fake run. So all of a sudden it will just zip back down, right? Because again, if the big boys totally believed it, they would be buying all the miners and stuff too. So somebody is not believing this Bitcoin run, or they're just waiting for hopefully a better entry. Regardless, if Bitcoin can maintain, which I don't think it will through the next rug pull where the market's going to get Hulk smashed down, we'll be fine. But I just have a feeling maybe next week, something like that everything is just going to go back down again. And I know that the big boys know that. Why? Because they don't have money in a lot of stuff right now. They're not buying. We've proved that many times. How about PaySafe, the possible LOI? So I knew nothing about this company. This is a money moving company. They are middlemen for money in between people buying at convenience stores or buying online, something like that. Regardless, we got a potential LOI. If you didn't watch this video earlier, watch with Fully Transmine, one of the biggest names out there. So I got a quote from someone which tells a lot. It's some boots on the ground information. He said, PaySafe cards are huge in Germany. Every convenience store and every gas station sells them. See, here I am in the United States. I've never, ever heard of PaySafe before. And I have dealt with many, many transaction companies within businesses, and I've never heard of PaySafe. That's why my first thought was it's probably not a tier 1. I still don't think it is. It could be tier 2 or 3, let's say, you know. But obviously they got some big plays going on in Germany, so it could be huge. It could be tier 1. It's just not in America, all over the rest of the world. But most of the time it is used by kids for games or by scammers. Y'all ever hear of washing money? People that are in weird, sketchy illegal businesses wash money, usually through cash or other businesses, or by stuff like this. You can buy prepaid cards from Walmart or maybe PaySafe at the gas stations, right? You walk into the gas station with your cash, you say, hey, here's $1,000, give me a PaySafe card. Say, sure, right? So it is what it is. There's always going to be an outlet for scammers. There just is. Conkin Nomad said, hey, I'm up 20% on the warrants. Foley is a great management team. So even if it falls through, because remember, that's not 100% set in stone, that it's going to be through PaySafe. It's just kind of a speculation thing. Even if it falls through, I have no doubt he will latch onto a great target. SPACs are all about the Rolodex. I love that saying. Didn't you guys? SPACs are all about the Rolodex. I totally agree. Of the management team. Still holding BFT, which is the ticker for that. JWS, Jaws, got a video on that. Watch that if you haven't. iPod, got a video on that. Take a look at that. Crushing it. And RPT, all with great management teams. Yeah, tend to agree. You know, I mean, it's kind of coming to that. SPACs are, you know, before we were talking about like a lot of the lower end, lower purse, lower MERS SPACs have done historically well. Like around the 200 million is historically the ones that gets the best ones out there. But it's kind of looking like now we need some real tier one magic. And so that might mean we need the big MERSs, like the Jaws. You know, they're going to be able to afford something, maybe a tier one something. I hope it's Robinhood. Just hoping and dreaming. B Sly, this dude has been with us since the beginning of time. Thanks for all the support, man. He said, hey, any Fuse news? Fuse news, F-U-S-E. You haven't seen my video on them? Check it out. This video got me thinking of them. I don't have any news on it, man. Other than the fact that I'm still stand by what I said. I mean, talking about the Rolodex. This is the guy who started the SPY. The SPY, y'all heard of the SPY? How about the GLD? The gold ETF. He's the leader of Fuse. I haven't heard any news, which is good. I'd rather hear no news and then the actual LOI comes out. It's like 95% of SPACs lately, we get like random articles from Reuters and then from Bloomberg, and I think it's helping kill SPACs, helping keep them down. We want to get the release, get the exact company and buy it now. We don't want to, oh, your birthday's coming in 6 months. Here's a little sneak peek of your presents. No, we just want to open the presents. We want to open the presents, man. How about Uber? Anyone's in Uber? Anyone ever taken an Uber before? What do you think about them? They see the lowest recovery of ride business in the home U.S. market, United States market. Deliveries more than double. Deliveries are getting bigger, but the U.S. market going down. Its demand for its food delivery service exploded the last quarter, but recovery in its global rides business is being held back by its most important market, the United States. Recovery will depend much on the course of the things that's March that's been going on. With the resurgence of it and the infections, the threatening ride bookings were dragged down and slowly recovered, particularly in the West Coast of the United States and in Europe, Middle East. Recovery is steadily. They're down 36% from last year. Man, that's terrible. They're to be competitive price-wise with other people. Sometimes companies do crazy stuff. Like they will raise money. They will take that money and purposely take losses on every single ride just to try to kill off the competition. But what happens when you got like 3 guys all doing the same thing? None of them are profitable, and they're all just trying to undercut on price. Eventually stuff gets real shaky. Ride-hailing customers who have returned are proving to be price sensitive, pressuring margins in what was once Uber's largest and most important segment. The company now heavily relies on the cost reductions and growth of its food delivery business, Eats, which is gradually reducing losses, but remains a drag. Sounds terrible. Shares were down 2% after hours trading as adjusted third quarter loss of $625 million was wider than analysts expectations of $597 million loss, according to them. Just try to think about that in the big picture. I mean, that is just absolutely crazy. Can you imagine investing in a company that lost $500 million? And what's proprietary about Uber, if you ask me? Can someone answer that? Why can't Octopus just open up rideshare and just pay someone what it costs, like $10,000 to start up an app? Just use the API from Google. I mean, it can't be that hard. What's the difference? I mean, people know the brand. But is a brand worth investing that's losing $500 million a quarter? Oh. Regardless, what's stock doing? Well, it ran up in hopes of good earnings, or because earnings were coming. Regardless, we had a huge run up from 34 up to 45. And now these bad earnings came out, and it just is kind of chilling. Do you think it might come back down? Why do you think it will stay up? That's the real question, I think. Why will this stay up? The brand? What else? Please let me know. I need someone to sell me on this. Am I missing something, or is this thing going to go bare? Let me know down in the comments. Any other news I totally missed? I've still got lots of update videos, lots of other videos I'm still working on, but please put it down in the comments if you want me to take a look at something. If y'all haven't joined our Patreon, please do it. It definitely helps out, and y'all have a good rest of the night. Take care.
Did you know that we give away free silver? Simply leave a comment on the video, and as long as you're in the continental United States, you can be automatically entered to win. Please friend us on Twitter and StockTwits.